And it's stating that higher screen time at the age of 4 is associated with lower levels of emotional understanding at the age of 6 years. And it also reveals that having a television in a child's bedroom at the age of 6 years predicts lower levels of emotional understanding at 8 years. So, this, I feel like this is such important information. I think, not to I never ever want to shame any parent because it's hard, and I think that there's absolutely a time and a place for screens. I think, of all the times that I see especially young children sitting in a restaurant with a tablet or in the shopping cart with a tablet, and I wonder, how much they're missing when they're so focused on screen as opposed to observing how their parents are interacting with one another or how other guests at the restaurant are interacting or being able to interact with the waitress and things like that. So do you think that that's something that can be approved?
Absolutely. There's so much modeling that the people around young children do for them on a daily basis. And when their world becomes so small and it's just the screen, that's being taken away. While the creatives that create the content that our kids are watching, they do a lot to try to make characters dynamic. It is flat compared to real life because real life, it isn't clean, it isn't perfect. There's so much nuance that a child can't receive from a screen. Additionally, when we're talking about the impulse to put a screen in front of our children when we're doing something and they're probably going to be bored. I've had a lot of meltdowns at the grocery store. I've had a lot of embarrassing moments in restaurants with my son, and unfortunately, the growth is messy and the growth is ugly and uncomfortable. And I wish that we lived in a society that was more forgiving towards parents and misbehaving children in public, because it's through that misbehavior that children grow. There's a pressure to when you bring your child into a public space for them to be so compliant, so quiet, and so well behaved. And a screen can make them do that, but it's not building any real muscle. It's not building tolerance for boredom. It's not building tolerance for a non-preferred activity. My son hates going to the grocery store, but non-preferred activities are part of life. And as teachers, we've seen kids that sometimes outright refuse to engage in non-preferred activities. Now, of course, there's a number of reasons why children do that. I'm not saying that it's caused by a parent putting a screen in front of them. There's tons of reasons why kids don't want to engage in preferred activities. But I'm just going to speak for myself. I know that I have fallen into the trap of wanting to make my child compliant because there's a way that we behave in public, and the screen's going to make you do that, and taking away opportunities for him to grow in his ability to be bored, to be frustrated, to not get his way. But it's all tough. It's all hard. And sometimes you're just done. Sometimes, as the adult, you've had a long day and it's what you got to do. So, and there's a place for that. But for myself, it's just looking at, is this becoming a habit? Because when it becomes a habit, that's when real opportunities being taken from my child to build that uncomfortable muscle.